Hi, I'm Nick Salazar for TriRig.com. I'm here with Ben Hoffman, affectionately known as the Hoff, and his specialized Shiv. He's got the Fit paint scheme on this one. Lots of cool little metrics and gears and stuff.
Right.
Ben Hoffman had a standout performance at 2014 Ironman Hawaii where he took second place, to the delight and surprise of American fans of triathlon everywhere. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, man. Yeah, it's good to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for chatting with us. So, we were talking about this a little earlier, but I'm sure you're sick of hearing people tell you they were like surprised by your Kona performance, or they didn't see it coming. How did you feel about it? Were you surprised that you did that well, or was it sort of a case of everything finally came together and you think that was sort of an expected result?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of both, and you're right. I mean, sometimes it gets a little bit old when everyone says, oh, it was a one-off or a fluke or something like that, or just overly surprised, I guess. But that said, the other side of it is that I surprised myself a little bit too. I felt like I was really ready at going into Hawaii this year or this last year, and I think I prepared really well, and I did surprise myself in some ways, but I did my best race, and I think I didn't know if that was going to be an 8th place or a 2nd place like it was, but yeah, I felt really good, and I knew I was in a really good position both mentally and physically going into the race, and so surprised in certain ways and not surprised in other ways, and yeah, just mostly excited, I guess, more than anything. Just happy to be up there and finally have a really great race in Hawaii and prove to myself that I can be a contender for years to come.
Awesome. So right after Hawaii, you validated with Ironman Florida, and so you're good to go for this year's race.
Right.
You've done a couple of little events since then. Not necessarily making the podium in those races. How are you feeling about that and sort of your season going forward? Is Kona still the ultimate goal?
Yeah, so I mean, the second I crossed the line in 2nd place in Hawaii, I was excited for a little while, of course, and it's still nice to think back on it, but one of the first thoughts I had was, well, 2nd's great, but 1st would be a lot better.
Sure.
And so ever since I got done, it's basically been about figuring out how I can get that top spot. And some of that is changing certain things in the way that I train and the way that I approach the race, but and other things is not making big changes, Some of it, obviously, I did a lot of things right last year too, so keeping that in mind and not going overboard that way. But really, yeah, since I left there, it's been about figuring out how to be the best prepared I can in October. And for me, that means not going overboard in the first half of the year. I've had some decent half Ironman races. I think St. George is actually a really good race for me. I came 5th there after kind of a shocker swim that I had there, but battled my way back into the top 5 and against a world-class field. So that was a good race. But yeah, I mean, I'll do a few more half Ironmans, and then really the focus is on the back half of the year. I'll race Ironman Hawaii as the ultimate focus for the year. And then I've got a couple of cool events coming up at the end of the year too. I'll be doing the Island House race in the Bahamas. And then I'll also be going down to Bahrain to race for the first time over there. So that'll be pretty cool, yeah.
So no more Ironmans until Hawaii, is that right?
That's right, yeah. It'll just be training and getting ready for that race. So yeah, some heat training, of course, in Arizona again. I'll go out to Hawaii a little bit early and make sure I'm acclimated and ready, and then have a hit out against the best guys in the world.
Nice. So it seems like you might have a little bit of a stealth year in mind to some extent. Like you're not going to be, showing up at every race being like, hey, I'm Ben Hoffman, 2nd on podium in Kona. How's that going to play to your advantage, you think?
Yeah, I think it's always somewhat advantageous, especially at a race like Hawaii, to fly under the radar a little bit. A lot of people expend a lot of energy in that week leading into the race, and I think, maybe staying off my feet and staying out of the limelight a little bit might help me. I'm not sure if I'll avoid all of that. I'm sure being 2nd place, I'll have some obligations, and I'll have to figure out how to best deal with that when I'm out there. But
you don't have to worry about me outing any secret strategy here. I'm sure the 3 or 4 people watching this will tell all their friends, but maybe 20 people in total will.
Well, yeah, in that case, I mean, I guess. I'll be out there doing every single interview and meeting with every single sponsor that I possibly can, staying out there in the sun. It's really good to acclimate like that right before the race. Also, you want to stress your kidneys and not drink too much water. That'll get you ready for being dehydrated.
Yeah, that helps you for renal failure on race day. Yeah,
exactly.
Very nice.
So that's my recipe for success.
So the bike basically unchanged since Kona other than the paint scheme. Is that about right?
That's about right, yeah. So it's the same Shiv module, and then I've got, the same exact aero bar setup. I made a couple of small adjustments in the wind tunnel at Specialized earlier this year, but so minimal it's almost not worth talking about.
Were those basically reach adjustments, or?
Yeah, that was actually a small stack adjustment, and that was, almost insignificant in a way.
Okay.
I mean, it was just, kind of playing with some things more about helmet position and things like that too.
Okay.
So it just got me in a slightly more comfortable position, but hardly any different. Obviously the position I was in last year was something that I could bike and be strong on the bike and then also still run off of. So I'm quite comfortable in that position, same saddle, everything is pretty much the same. But I did switch over to the TriRig brakes. So,
all right.
Yeah, and that's definitely part of the reason we're here, of course, to talk about the new ones. But yeah, I'm all styled out with the brand new TriRig brakes, so I'm pretty psyched on that. Also got some new components too. With the Shimano Dura-Ace, which I'm excited about, and the night wheels. So yeah, exciting.
You've been liking the Dura-Ace, especially the outboard shifting.
It's really great, man. Yeah, it's been super comfortable, and every little thing matters. I mean, obviously it's a little bit less energy expenditure and just a little bit less to think about, and also being able to shift from the bar position like that is really nice. So
and a little earlier you were talking about with me, and I noted this in our review of Di2, even just in the extensions, the ergonomics of just having to go boop is like clutch. You don't have to think about doing this with a lever, or you don't have to brake aero or expend any energy. You're just kind of like, I'd like to be in a higher gear now. Click.
Done. Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's really nice. Yeah, it's been a great change for me. So yeah, and additionally, like I said, the Night composite wheels, those are new, but they're super fast wheels, and these are actually some trainer wheels at 35s, but I'll be rolling the 95s in Hawaii, and they're a great deep dish wheel, handle really well in the crosswinds, and super aerodynamic. So
awesome.
Other than that, though, pretty much same setup I've had before. I like running the bottle between the bars here. It's a good spot for me in the wind tunnel. It's drag neutral, so that's great. Got the bladder here, of course.
And then you run the fuel cell?
This is just for training right now. I'll move this cage to the back of the saddle for Ironman racing. I've also discovered that is a drag neutral situation for me, where the wind never sees it, so I can put a bottle back there and be fine. I'll run the fuel cell in there, and I'll carry all my spare stuff in there.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
How much work have you been able to do in the Specialized wind tunnel?
It's been pretty awesome. I've been in the wind tunnel out there just twice, but full day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, full day of doing runs in there.
Yeah.
So lots of time to try different helmets, try different positions, try different gear, and find out what is the optimal for me. And at the moment I feel like I'm there, so it's pretty exciting.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, you've been a friend of the site for a long time, and we're just delighted to see you doing this well. We wish you all the best for the rest of the season, and can't wait to see you take one more step up on that podium.
That's the ultimate goal, man. Yeah, I'm excited, and I appreciate you guys being part of the journey there and helping out in every way you can. So
pleasure's all ours.
Yeah.
For more info and photos, check out TriRig.com. Thanks.
Nick.